Hello and welcome to Vishal Test Labs. So welcome back again on another video on the quality assurance. And today's topic is going to be the types of testing methods. And the very first method we are going to see today is black box testing. So let's get started and see what is black box testing. All right. So have you ever wondered how testers are testing the applications without having programming knowledge or without knowing how the databases works, how the internal logic of that application works? If you want to get an answer, that answer is black box testing. So let's see a professional definition. So black box testing is simply a testing method, as I said earlier, where the testers doesn't look at the internal code structure. They will be fully focusing on the inputs and the outputs for that particular inputs. So the testers who are doing black box testing will not have the knowledge of the codings or the internal structure of the database, how the APIs works, or they will not have any idea how the system is working. But what they will do is they will give an input and they will see the output. Simply, that is black box testing. In this current world, around 95% of testing is black box testing. So let's see a practical example and then you will understand what is black box testing. So assume you're walking to an ATM machine and you're inserting your card, you're giving the credentials and you're withdrawing the money. But have you thought what exactly is happening inside this ATM? No, right? You will not understand what is going under that. Because what we know is if we give the card and give the correct credentials, we should get the money, that input and the output. He doesn't know what exactly happens inside the ATMs, how the wires are working, how the card is read. He doesn't know all those stuffs. So that is what simply a black box testing. When you receive the cash for the card you give, you say, okay, the machine is working, and that is simply a black box testing. Now let's see a theoretical example or simply a technical example related to systems. Okay. Now let's see how the black box testing is working. You are having an input and they are going to give that input to the system. The system is hidden from us, the black box that is hidden from us. We don't know what is inside. And that black box is going to give you somewhat output. Simply the system is going to give you an output. This is how the black box testing is going to work. How the testing is going to work is you're going to have an input as the correct username and password, the correct credentials is within you. Let's assume the black box as an e-commerce website. So you're giving your credentials to the e-commerce website and you're going to check the output, what is going to happen, right? So for this input, there can be two kinds of outputs based on testings. One is the dashboard is successfully loaded. In that case, if your dashboard is loaded correctly for the correct credentials, then you can assume that the test has passed. Or else, there can be another situation if there's a broken system or the code is broken inside, but we don't know what exactly has happened inside. There can be a situation where for the correct username and password, the dashboard didn't load successfully. In that case, the system is failed. That means the test has failed. So what the tester does here is he just gives the correct credentials and he's checking the output, whether it has loaded or not. Based on that, the test will be passed or failed. I think you have gotten a clear idea what is black box testing and how it is working. Now let's see some advantages of black box testing. So first thing first is we don't need the coding knowledge, as I said earlier. So you don't need to know the codings, the programming languages, the databases, the APIs. You don't need to know any of those things. What you just need to know is for this set of inputs, what should be the output. You just need to know all those things. You don't need to know rest of the codings or any computer-related things. Second thing is you're going to test it from the user's perspective. Since you are not having a programming knowledge, it will be like a user testing because it's like a user perspective because user doesn't know what is inside the system, how it is working. So they are going to just give the credentials and check whether you're logged in or not. So that is how. So it's going to be from the user's perspective. Third one is it's effective for large systems. So when there's a large complex system, so they have to do so simply you can do the black box testing easily because it consumes less amount of time compared to the another type of testings because you don't need to have coding knowledge. So you just give the inputs and see the output. So the time is saved compared to the rest of the testing methods. So I guess disadvantages is because you have simplified everything into 3 major points. So what could be the limitations? The first limitation is really important because it cannot find the internal bugs. So as I said earlier, there can be internal bugs which cannot be found because we don't know the internal structure of the system. There can be an error in the database. There can be error in fetching APIs keys. So, but sometimes the system might work, but there could be a critical error. In some cases, that error could work, but that may crash in later on. So that is why we cannot identify those internal bugs that has been occurred because we don't know the internal workings. And the next thing is, so we all know about design test cases. So we design test cases and we do testings. So without knowing these test cases, without knowing these internal logics, it's really hard to design the test cases because we really don't know what to test without knowing the internal structure, or without knowing the logic, we don't know what to exactly test. So these limitations are there. So to fulfill these and to opposite to this black box, there is another concept, that is white box testing, and we will see white box testing in the next video. So stay tuned, and if you have any questions, please drop it in the comment box. So thank you for watching. So please subscribe to know more about QAs. Thank you.